The Boomtowns and Ghost Towns of the New Economy by Richard Florida. Published in the October 2013 edition of The Atlantic. Presented by Kindea Labs. America's economic map is ever-changing. Great migrations, settlers westward, African Americans northward, urbanites outward to greener suburbs, then back again, have shaped the country's history. Cities have heaved skyward, boomtowns have come and gone. 5 years after the financial crash, with the national economy just beginning to return to normalcy, we can begin to trace the outlines of America's emerging economic map and take inventory of the places that are thriving, those that are declining, and those that are trying, in novel ways, to come back. Throughout this article, I'll lean most heavily on three measures: the composition of job growth, high wage, mid-wage, or low wage, productivity growth, and venture capital funding. New York City was widely expected to be devastated by the financial crisis. Wall Street's collapse, the conventional wisdom went, would bring the whole city down with it. New York's financial sector did shrink somewhat, but the city has retained its perch as a preeminent global finance center, and the reduction of the finance industry's footprint has provided the spur and the space for other industries to grow. Over the past 10 years, Greater New York's share of the nation's startups funded by venture capital has more than doubled, from 5.3% to 11.4%. In 2011, the city attracted more venture capital investment than any other, save San Francisco. For a long time, high-tech startups have been clustered in suburban office parks along freeways. But since the crisis, startups have taken an urban turn. San Francisco is a striking case in point. Over the past several years, Twitter, Pinterest, and even Yahoo have moved into downtown. Today, San Francisco proper tops Silicon Valley as a center for venture capital investment by a wide margin. America's knowledge metros make up perhaps the biggest group of winners overall since the crash. Nearly 2/3 of San Jose's new jobs have been high wage, as have nearly half of the new jobs in nearby San Francisco. San Jose also leads the nation in productivity growth, with a nearly 10% increase between 2009 and 2011. Washington, D.C. has had among the nation's lowest rates of unemployment, the most stable housing prices, and a high overall job growth since the crash. A whopping 59% of all new jobs created there since 2009 have been high-wage jobs, second only to San Jose. College towns such as Boulder, Ann Arbor, Charlottesville, Champaign-Urbana, and Lawrence, Kansas number among the nation's leading centers for startup activity on a per capita basis. The strength of these smaller centers suggests that the future does not belong to large superstar cities alone. Knowledge, it turns out, is what allows metros to generate good, high-wage jobs. One thing I didn't foresee in 2009 was the stunning rise of America's energy belt, a region stretching from Houston to Oklahoma City to New Orleans, that in 2011, by my estimation, produced some $750 billion in total economic output. Energy stands alongside knowledge as the second pillar of America's recovery. Cities like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Bismarck and Fargo in North Dakota have experienced strong growth since the crisis, and fracking has brought flush times to out-of-the-way places in North Dakota, Wyoming, and other parts of the country. Still, the energy economy involves more than just extraction. Houston has clocked the third fastest rate of job growth of all large metros since the recession, 9%. Its job growth has been balanced, with 24% coming from high-wage jobs, 48% from mid-wage jobs, and 27% from low-wage jobs. The metros, where low-wage jobs make up the largest share of job growth since 2009, are in the Rust Belt and the Sun Belt. St. Louis, where 90% of new jobs are low-wage. California's so-called Inland Empire of Riverside, San Bernardino, where nearly 3/4 of new jobs are low-wage. New Orleans, Tampa, Orlando, Columbus, and Rochester, New York, where more than half the jobs are low-wage. Temp jobs account for an extraordinarily large share of recent job growth in Memphis, Birmingham, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. It is striking, nonetheless, how some of the hardest hit places have begun to sow the seeds of recovery in a way few people, including myself, would have predicted. As of July, Detroit is officially bankrupt, with the fates of thousands of municipal pensioners hanging in the balance. Yet, amid all that truly dreadful news are signs of a comeback. Detroit has posted the third highest rate of productivity growth of any large metro since the crash. America's emergent growth model, which is taking shape around its knowledge and energy hubs, may be more powerful than its old one. That pre-crash model depended on the continual building of debt-financed houses, with bigger and bigger footprints sprawling ever outward. It was dirty, resource inefficient, crisis-prone, and ultimately unsustainable. Clear away the rubble, and one can better see the country's formidable strengths: a large startup ecosystem, world-class universities, knowledge resources, and abundant energy. As these clusters of highly educated people form and grow, they tend to push out the middle class, resulting in a ruthless sorting of people and places. As great as its potential may be, this new economic landscape is also notable for its widening fissures. Reckoning with these deepening class and geographic divides, finding and implementing a set of policies that can build a sustainable prosperity for everyone is the toughest and most urgent challenge we face.